So, thanks for checking out our video here. We're going to be making a mount for the FogBuster since the mount it comes with really just sucks. So, might as well start off with a lovely crash. The first one of the machine, we set our Z height incorrectly. It was a typo. Unfortunately, just a few sparks. Damaged an edge on the Superfly cutter that was already dull anyway. So, anyway, with the Superfly cutter, we'll just face this off, get a nice finish. Gotta love the Superfly for this. Does a wonderful job. Do a tool change, 4 flute, carbide end mill, 1/4 inch. Do an adaptive tool path. I forget how many inches per minute this is, but it's pretty fast. This video is sped up 4 times, so it's not this fast, but it's still adaptive cutting is just, it's the way to go. Clear lots of material quick. So let it do its thing and we'll come back and talk more. Alright, time for their tool change. This time we got a 1/8 2 flute carbide end mill. It's a stubby. It's got about 3/8 of a stick out. And we're just going to do a contouring pass, remove about 1/10 thou of stock we left over from the adaptive, because adaptive is roughing only. And just give it a nice finish on the wall. Alright, we'll do a little peck drilling there with our spot drill. Drill out the location for the fasteners to go. And now we'll do a little pocketing. Another adaptive tool path using 1/8 end mill, I believe. Same one as before. This is just a counter bore essentially for the heads of the cap screws to go into. As always, we'll do a finishing pass to remove the leftover stock left over, about 1/10 thou. So we're going to finish this finish this part up with a chamfer, just clean everything up. Unfortunately, the video got corrupted after this point, so couldn't show you flipping it over and machining the back off, but wasn't much to that. This is the second part of the bracket. This is where the lock line is going to go, and it's just again facing adaptive tool path. The adaptive works great for this kind of stuff, as I said before. Unfortunately, you got to be careful with where you set your parts in the jaws, and for some reason I made a bit of a mistake, and well, you're about to see the second crash, which basically consisted of going down too far and busting the end mill off right there. So, new end mill, continue on, and I just picked a place to start, and it's just going to do a little bit of the remachining. So we'll come back later. So just do another tool change, another chamfer pass, and then we'll flip it over and we'll remove that extra material. There's not that much there, so not very big, so instead of just using an end mill, I decided I'll just face it off with the fly cutter. It's faster and the inserts are a lot cheaper. But if you don't have one of these super flies, I highly recommend you get one. They'd be great for any milling machine. So, fly cut and chamfer. Now we'll flip it onto the side, and we're going to do the we're going to drill the holes so that we can bolt it to the rest of the bracket. Look at that beautiful part right there. So again, spotting. Then drilling these for a 10-30 second tap. I did the tapping off screen because I don't have the tapping head set up yet. So here's the finished product, bolted together, at least part of it. And there it is attached to the lock line. It's a 1/2 inch lock line. I picked 1/2 inch because the hoses are going to go right down the center of it. So we got to mount it to the mill itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of the 3 bolts on the mill column, and or I should say the head, to mount it. So we just got a piece of 3/16 plate, doing all of our spotting, switching out. Now we're going to do an adaptive, clearing out the bolt holes and where the lock lines are going to go. Nice little finishing pass, and then we're going to do a little slotting. I don't like doing slotting, but in this case it was the most reasonable way to do it. And so slotting away it goes. So now we're finished the slotting there. Now it's time to go to the 1/4 inch mill drill and chamfer the edges, even though you won't see most of them. I'm just a little OCD when it comes to chamfers. And that's it for the bracket. Let's have a look at that bracket. Very nice. Let's mount it up. So there we go. That's the product done. Lock line. And there's the bracket on the mill. Not too shabby. There we go. Almost a full assembly. Just got to run the hoses. Not easily adjustable. There's the hoses installed. And for installing the hoses, I just ran them through just like I saw on the internet there, because this isn't my original idea, in case you thought it was. And I ran the hoses up the side of the head. I drilled a hole in the sheet metal, put a grommet in there, and then ran the 2 hoses through there. Figured it looks like a clean install. And I'm going to put a couple of hose clamps on there just to hold it. And then they just go up and over the switch and up through that track. And then down to the FogBuster unit itself attached to the back of the mill. So, thanks for watching.